Another month has gone, meaning it's time for the next part in the Overanalyzing Harry Potter series. Today we've got Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. There's not really much else to say, so I'll meet you in the town of Little Hangleton. Starting with the gravesite, we're currently in the town of Little Hangleton, and we're right outside of the Riddle home. If you put the dots together, which may be kind of hard if you're not paying full attention to the end of this movie, this is the grave that Harry is put up against when Voldemort is being resurrected. On the graves are the names Thomas, Mary, and Tom Riddle. One of these names should ring a bell. First, Thomas and Mary are Voldemort's Muggle grandparents, and below is the name Tom Riddle. Now, this isn't the Tom Riddle we know, this is actually Voldemort's father. I'll give more backstory to this in Half-Blood Prince, but for now, take a look at their death dates. They all died in 1943, and we'll be back to this in just 1 second. In the back of the shot is the Riddle Manor, and in the foreground is the groundskeeper's shack. The old man's name is Frank Bryce. You may be wondering, why is he so mad that this light is on inside this other person's house? And now's when I cash in on that backstory I was just promising you. The book starts out in August of 1943. The Riddle family, Thomas, Mary, and Tom, were all discovered dead in their home, all with no evidence of any murder. Police arrested the Riddle's gardener and groundskeeper named Frank Bryce, which is the man we see now. Though Frank did mention that he saw a dark-haired boy nearby on the night of the killings. Cut to 50 years later, and Frank is still working as the groundskeeper for the Riddle home. Now the home vacant, we catch up with the story. Frank looks out the window and sees a light on in the Riddle's home. Oftentimes, kids like to snoop around in the home, so Frank thinks this is just another routine check-in to kick the kids out of the house.
Bloody kids.
For now, there's your backstory. Let's keep going.
If we were to do it without the boy...
No! The boy is everything! It cannot be done without him!
Voldemort says that this resurrection can't be done without Harry, even though it can. All he needs is blood of an enemy of his, and since like the whole wizarding world is his enemy, he could be resurrected with any pretty much single person's blood. For personal reasons, Voldemort thinks he has to kill Harry.
Send them aside!
This is the first time we see Voldemort's snake named Nagini. Nagini is known for being a Horcrux at the end of the series, but we also later find out in the Fantastic Beasts films that she is something called a Maledictus. In the wizarding world, being a Maledictus is a curse on a woman. It gives them the ability to turn into a beast, similar to an animagus, but there is one key difference, and that is Maledictus have cursed blood, meaning eventually they'll be stuck in their beast form. So the snake we see throughout the Harry Potter movies was once a living girl, now forever trapped as a snake. It's a bit weird, huh?
Avada Kedavra!
Poor Frank Bryce, he doesn't deserve that way of going out. He's been viewed as a murderer his whole life. He then stuck by the family that cared about him so much, and then he was killed by their own grandchild in the blink of an eye. Justice for my boy Frank. We'll see him at the end of the film, so it's not goodbye just yet.
When did you get here?
Just now, you.
Last night.
Wake up! Wake up, Ronald!
This is Ron's bedroom. It'll be a tall task to analyze this whole thing, but of course, we are ready. First, look outside the bedroom door. We can see a bit of the deck and the outside. Ron's bedroom is at the top of the burrow here, so this area would be what we're seeing out the window. Ron's bedspread says the words Chudley on it. As mentioned in the last episode, Ron's favorite Quidditch team is the Chudley Cannons. That's also why his whole room is themed in the color orange. That comic paper on the desk might be the same one we saw in the last movie with Looney Nambi versus Cornish Pixies, but I'm not quite sure since I can't really read it. The text at the top is in yellow, so it may not be the same comic. Ron's got even more Chudley Cannon stickers on the wall, as well as posters next to his bed. He also has a whistle hanging from his roof for some reason. I think this little sign behind Harry says Dervish and Bangs. You can make out Dervish, but I'm less confident on the bottom word. Dervish and Bangs is a shop in Hogsmeade that sells wizarding equipment.
Ron, where are we actually going?
Dunno.
The shot they used for the exterior of the burrow is almost, if not the exact same shot they used in the Chamber of Secrets movie. Now with a darker tone and no flying car, all the other pieces such as the house, barn, and landscape all still match up perfectly.
Where are we going?
I'm the foggiest. Keep up!
This is a lie. They're meeting the Diggories at Stoat Shed Hill. That's where their portkey is.
This is Amos Diggory, everyone.
Welcome to Amos Diggory. He's the father to Cedric Diggory, who we'll meet in just one moment. He works in the Department for the Regulation and Control of Magical Creatures. And in the books, Amos is often snarky with Harry as he keeps bringing up the fact that his son beat Harry in a game of Quidditch last year.
This strapping young lad must be Cedric.
Is that really needed? I'd assume you all know Cedric because he's like a main character of this movie, and only this movie. But a fact I brought up in the last video is that this actually isn't the first time we see Cedric in the movies. He's this Hufflepuff Quidditch seeker that gets struck by lightning in the last film, just now recast.
Merlin's beard. You must be Harry Potter.
Harry's wearing the same jacket that he wore at the end of the film when he fought off the Dementors.
Shall we?
When did this film just randomly get some of the best cinematography? The director Mike Newell probably wanted to top Alfonso Cuarón's work on Prisoner of Azkaban and was just throwing stuff at the wall.
Why are they all standing around that manky old boot? That isn't just any manky old boot, mate.
It's a portkey.
A portkey is a magical object in the wizarding world that can transport wizards to a specific location. They're usually disguised as everyday objects so muggles won't find them. It's similar to Aberration, which is the ability to teleport, but this one's legal for all underage wizards since all portkeys must be authorized through the Ministry of Magic. Man, did he hit the ground hard.
I bet that cleared your sinuses, eh?
The real-life filming location of the cliffs where the characters are now is known as the Seven Sisters. It's located in southeast England.
Well, kids, welcome to the Quidditch World Cup.
There is so much going on here, but I'll do my best. First, the match is between Ireland and Bulgaria, so all the colors you see match those two teams. This will be the first time the British have hosted the Quidditch World Cup in 30 years. Not that long of a time, to be honest with you. Similar to the real world World Cup, it happens every 4 years. Don't tell me how that math works out, because if it's every 4 years and it was 30 years, you can get the math, but don't tell me. I just looked at the wiki. Speedrun time. There are people on stilts walking around. There are house elves on camels, perhaps a reference to how important house elves are during the Quidditch World Cup, though never touched on in the movies. People are flying on brooms. A lot of tents have pipes or chimneys coming out the top because they're all like mini homes with fireplaces inside of them. Some people are reading the Daily Prophet. Lastly, in this bunch, someone has an American flag flying above their tent.
Home sweet home.
Not sure which one, but either Fred or George have been carrying these omnioculars all the way from the house. He's got like a bag on, so I don't really know why he's carrying it.
Excellent, excellent. Girls.
This tent was charmed to be larger on the inside than it appears. It belonged to Perkins, who worked with Arthur at the Ministry. The Weasleys also opt to build this tent themselves, without the use of magic, and it takes them all day. This tent is also the same one that is used during the Horcrux hunt in the Deathly Hallows. You can see the entrance to the Quidditch World Cup Stadium on the lower end of the mountain. You can also see all the people filing in. There's a sign that says Ministry with an arrow pointing right, as well as a sign that says Ministry Box. In the books, instead of being at the very top of the stadium, the group is in the Minister's Box.
Father and I are in the minister's box.
Let me give you the rundown. Arthur helped a man named Otto Bagman get out of a minor scrape. This prompted his brother, Ludo Bagman, to give Arthur and his whole family tickets to sit in the top box, the best seats in the house. This takes me to Ludo Bagman. Bagman is one of the biggest characters left out of the movies. He has a major plotline throughout this book. Feel free to search him up after this video ends, of course, but for a brief summary, Ludo is the head of Magical Games and Sports Department in the Ministry of Magic. This means he planned out this whole event and later the Triwizard Tournament as well. Throughout the year, he's set up to be one of the main suspects of who put Harry's name in the Goblet of Fire because he tries to help Harry win at every single task. You may be asking yourself, why does he help Harry throughout all these tasks? And the answer is because he's in massive gambling debt. Now let's take this all the way back to the tickets. Why on earth did he not just sell the tickets in order to make more money back? Because instead, he handed out about 7 tickets out for free to Arthur and his family for Arthur helping his brother with a minor incident. That logic doesn't add up a single bit.
Blimey, Dad. How far up are we?
We'll put it this way. If it rains, you'll be the first to know.
Can't lie, that's a funny joke. But as many people have mentioned, isn't being at the top of the Quidditch Stadium the best view of the game? It's pretty simple logic.
Come on!
Told you they were good seats, the players just flew right over their heads. Not sure if it's badly edited, but when you go frame by frame, the player clearly just goes straight through Cedric's head. Oh, by the way, everyone here is supporting Ireland besides Ron and Harry because they're both such big fans of Bulgaria's seeker, Victor Crumb.
This is the best seeker in the world.
Ron's looking out a device known as omnioculars. They're used to watch Quidditch games to slow down and replay action.
It gives me great pleasure.
On the right of the minister, you see Barty Crouch, who is seen later in the film. And on the left, you see Lucius and Draco Malfoy in the minister's box, right where they said.
Father and I are in the minister's box.
Let the match begin.
Yeah, let's include the Quidditch World Cup and then not show any of it. Fans are gonna love that one. We get to see the match in the books, and after some penalty shots, Ireland gets way ahead in points. To end the game, Crumb catches the snitch for Bulgaria to make his team lose, which then makes Ireland win. He did this so Bulgaria doesn't get beaten as bad as they would. The final score was 170 Ireland to 160 Bulgaria. You could kind of see the logic in this if it was like a playoff game, because the points that you earn still matter, no matter if you win or lose. But in the World Cup, all that matters is you winning. So really, this makes no sense and kind of just shows Crumb being dumb, even though I don't really think that's what they were going for. I don't know. What's this lady jumping over? I bet they told the actress just to jump and we'll add in something in post later. The Death Eaters arrive at the Quidditch World Cup to cause mayhem. In the books they do this as well, but after the dark mark is seen in the sky, everyone starts to go crazy. So in the books it's not strictly the Death Eaters setting the fire to the whole camp.
More murder.
Barty Crouch Jr. sends the Dark Mark up into the sky. The Dark Mark is the sign of Voldemort and his followers. During the First Wizarding War, it signified death. If someone came home to their house and saw it looming above it in the sky, they were sure that someone was dead. It was used to be some sort of scare tactic. In the books, we never find out who casted it until the end when it was revealed to be Barty Crouch Jr., but this movie, they just show us his face. That's the same island in the water that we saw last movie with Lupin and later with Hagrid. The trees match up perfectly.
Anything from the trolley.
Hermione's reading the Daily Prophet piece on the attack at the World Cup, but why have they changed the font that the Daily Prophet used to be using? Because this font is almost impossible to read.
This is horrible. How can the ministry not know who conjured it?
The objects out the window are moving from left to right, once again, meaning the cabins are on the right side of the train. This confirms what we found out in the last video when they switched it in the older films.
Anything from the trolley, dears?
Packet of drew balls and a licorice wand.
There's a new woman as the trolley girl, because clearly these aren't the same people. Some of the candies we see on the trolley are chocolate frogs, we can read fizzing Whizbees, and see the jelly snakes. Ron also orders two things for himself, a packet of Droobles, which is a form of gum, and a licorice wand, which is pretty much what you can assume. Licorice in the shape of a wand.
2 pumpkin pasties, please.
Apparently pumpkin pasties are an actual thing. Thought it was like a Wizarding World candy, but nope, it's a pumpkin tasting sweet with a bit of a shell.
Yes.
Here's Cho Chang. Something interesting is that she's a year older than Harry, which is never mentioned in the movies. In the year prior, she actually plays Harry in a Quidditch match because she is the Ravenclaw's seeker. He mentions how she's cute, but he never makes a move until this movie. I mean, this movie kind of barely makes a move because he doesn't actually get to take her out to the Yule Ball, but you get it.
Isn't there any security or...
Loads.
Harry's still wearing the same jacket as before, by the way. Crookshanks and Hedwig are just chilling in the carriage. We met Crookshanks in the last movie. As Harry sends his letter out to Sirius, he sends Hedwig out the window, and she flies over the same island we see once again. This is the same island we see in the establishing shot, like I just said, so this makes double no sense because this train has been moving for another 2 minutes. They really would be very far away from this island by now. This is the same bridge we see in the Chamber of Secrets when Ron and Harry are flying over it. The Beauxbaton students arrive in their flying carriage. The carriage is pulled by horse-like creatures called Abraxians. There is some more trivia for you. I, for one, will not be remembering that.
Clear the runway!
What does Hagrid mean by clear the runway? Based on the stairs on the right side of the screen and the Great Hall, we're near the boathouse. If you look at this map, it's just surrounded by water, so the only place to land around this area is in the water. In the books, they park it by Hagrid's hut. The The Durmstrang students arrive on a ship, and the ship has the ability to move underwater. People also assume it has the ability to move out of the water, though never explained, because Hogwarts' lake isn't connected to the ocean, so there must have been a way for them to be out of the water as well. I think that's Ernie Macmillan, which we'll see later in this film, as well as Neville Longbottom.
Well, there's something you don't see every day.
Behind the Weasley twins is Angelina Johnson, who is also on the Gryffindor Quidditch team. The kid next to Ginny is named Nigel. He mainly gets a focus in Order of the Phoenix. You'll recognize him here. He's a character made to replace both Colin Creevey and his brother Dennis Creevey, so he's a movie original character.
This castle will not only be your home this year.
I mentioned how the house tables have been changing around in the last video, so quickly going through it from left to right, in the first and second movie it was Ravenclaw, Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Slytherin. Then in the third movie it was Ravenclaw, Slytherin, Gryffindor, Hufflepuff. And now from a few of these shots we get, it's Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff, Gryffindor, Slytherin. So, again, we're just switching these up. It seems like every single movie for really no apparent reason, but there you go. Why is Flitwick standing on the table? Scratch that. Why is this woman at the staff table writing in this massive book during this opening ceremony? Here are some first years near Nigel, and we know they're first years because they have the house robes on with no emblem on the tie. If we zoom in on that tie, it's just the Hogwarts logo.
Please join me in welcoming the lovely ladies of the Beauxbatons Academy of Magic.
They are from a French wizarding school named Beauxbatons Academy of Magic. I won't go too far into their lore, but something of note is that in the books, the school isn't just for women. Often, the only people we really meet from each of the schools is one gender in the books, but both schools brought both men and women. And they also only brought students who were in their 6th and 7th years so they could qualify the age requirement to compete in the Triwizard Tournament. The students are led by their headmistress, Madame Olympe Maxime. Let me give you some information about Fleur Delacour. She is part Vila. Vila are human-like magical beings who appear to be young, beautiful women. Their looks are said to be so powerful that they have a magical charm where people are drawn to them. This may be why people fawn over her so much. Vila are also the Bulgarian team's mascots, and they show up at the Quidditch World Cup to distract the other team. I know they wanted to include Fleur's sister, Gabrielle, but why did they make her look like this jester-looking thing? She technically shouldn't be here just yet because she is underage, and her sister hasn't even been chosen for the Triwizard Tournament just yet. She's brought in later when her sister actually competes.
Please greet the proud sons of Durmstrang and the High Master Igor Karkaroff.
Similar to Beauxbatons, Durmstrang isn't just men. It's known for only accepting pureblood wizards and teaching the dark arts.
Victor Crumb!
You may be wondering how Victor Crumb is the best seeker in the world while also being still at school. The answer is as simple as similar to soccer players in the real world, some are just super young and still may have to be in school. This other student, following their headmaster Igor Karkaroff, is named Polyakov, one of the aides but also one of Karkaroff's least favorite students. What is this kid doing? He just jumps and moves his wand about. Kick this guy out of the school. This scene is low-key hilarious because the two schools come in with a ton of aura, and then the Hogwarts students are proud of their dumb song about scabby knees and dead flies. You may be thinking, which film executive thought this was a good idea? But you'd be wrong. This is an original song that is actually from the books, just not the Goblet of Fire. In Harry's first year, after the opening feast, Dumbledore gets the whole Great Hall to sing this exact song. So, it's a book original. Mad-Eye Moody is approaching the castle from this angle, around where the Quidditch pitch technically is. This is a bit odd, since the door he later enters through is from the back of the Great Hall here. He went to the exact opposite side of the castle. Also, he could have just walked through the front door. Oh, and we can see the owlry on the far right, which is more prominent in this film. It wasn't there in the last movie. The movie gets it correct, where the Beauxbatons students sit with the Ravenclaws at their table, and the Durmstrangs sit with the Slytherins. Interesting how they've got these 4 people to bring the Triwizard Cup in, and then just kick them out.
That is what awaits the student who wins the Triwizard Tournament.
They switched the people who were in front of Harry from earlier. Earlier it was these two girls, and now we've got this singular girl who's completely different in front of him.
It seemed fit to impose a new rule.
When Mad-Eye Moody walks in, he comes in through the back door of the Great Hall. This door has actually been there throughout all 4 films, most notably when Snape leaves through it during the Halloween feast in the first movie. I'll also say that from the back of the Great Hall, there's no door to come through, as we can see from this back view of the Great Hall. Through the door is also a spiral staircase, so even if there was a door, the staircase isn't there on the back of the Great Hall either.
To explain all this, we have the head of the Department of International Magical Cooperation, Mr. Bartimus Crouch.
I realize I haven't given you any of Barty Crouch's backstory, but why does no one clap for him? Just wondering. Anyway, as Dumbledore said, Barty Crouch works for the Ministry as the head of the Department of International Magical Cooperation. He's here to introduce the Triwizard Tournament, as well as later to be a judge. He and Ludo Bagman are the 2 heads of the operation, both up for consideration to who put Harry's name in the Goblet of Fire. Once again, his role in the book is pretty major, but again, I'll touch on that when it comes up.
My dear old friend, thanks for coming. Stupid ceiling.
The Great Hall stage where the teachers sit has now been extended. We can see it best in a few different shots, but there's a bit now that's poking out of the front where the cup later sits. There's also 2 floors on the stage instead of just the one, and there's more room for the staff tables. Here's what it looked like previously, comparing it to how it looks now.
It's Mad-Eye Moody.
Alastor Moody. The Aura.
Aura? Dark Wizard Catcher.
Aurors are similar to police in the wizarding world. Their job is to catch and stop dark wizards. Harry also later becomes an Auror when he leaves Hogwarts.
I would think you would want to fill it with potions. Or is it no longer your ambition to become an Auror?
Moody is known as one of the best Aurors of all time. I'll take this as my opportunity to remind you that this isn't the actual Alastor Moody. This is Barty Crouch Jr. disguised using the Polyjuice Potion.
Anyone wishing to submit themselves to the tournament?
Cho Chang is sitting next to Roger Davies, the Ravenclaw Quidditch captain, who is later Fleur Delacour's date to the Yule Ball.
In the flame before this hour on Thursday night.
In the books, all the other schools arrive about a month into term in October, and then they draw names on Halloween night. You ever realize that there's people on this boat? Let me zoom in for you real fast. Not really sure why they're out on the boat right now. That also leads me to mention that the students from the other schools actually sleep in their respective vehicles. There's enough room for all the students to sleep in there. We really never find out why Karkaroff is doing this because this isn't a thing in the books, but we can assume he's trying to rig it in some way to have it spit out Krumm's name.
Alastor Moody.
Moody's got this staff that he carries around with him, but it's only in the movies. In Order of the Phoenix, during the final battle, we see that it has magical abilities because he blasts a Death Eater back using the staff.
But first, which of you can tell me how many unforgivable curses there are?
Kind of surprising that this is the first time they ever are mentioned as the Unforgivable Curses.
Says you're too young to see what these curses do.
The window in the back of the room is now much longer compared to what we've seen it as in the previous 3 films. Did Dean forget his school books? Because every other student has this massive, thick book in front of them, all except for Dean.
She's lethal.
You always gotta remember, Ron's worst fear is spiders.
Scores of witches and wizards
I don't believe that Crabbe would willingly sit to this random Hufflepuff girl in this class.
have claimed that they only did you-know-who's bidding under the influence of the Imperious Curse.
Moody mentions this because it references to how in the books he himself pleaded not guilty and that he was being controlled under the Imperious Curse. But this was later proven wrong as he was sent to Azkaban. Both Crabbe and Goyle's parents also said they were under the Imperious Curse. And from now on, I'm referring to this Mad-Eye Moody as Barty Crouch Jr., his real form, just so we don't get it all mixed up. This scene is especially bad because both Neville's parents were tortured to the point of insanity and can barely form any thoughts. This is why Neville lives with his grandmother. But I'll give you 3 guesses as to who tortured them. It was Bellatrix, Rodolphus, and Sebastian Lestrange, as well as one Barty Crouch Jr. Yep, his parents' torturer is doing this right in front of the sun.
Only one person is known to have survived it, and he's sitting in this room.
The aura here in this classroom right now is actually unmatched. If only surviving this didn't ruin Harry's whole life. This is the same staircase shot they used in the last movie for when they were leaving the divination class. I also failed to mention that the staircase we see in the wide shot isn't the same one we see them walking down. When we take a closer look, there's this staircase in the wall in front of the window, but when we look back at this establishing shot, there's no staircase near any of the windows. We know the students are running into the Great Hall because of the next shot, but this is still the correct courtyard right outside the Great Hall. I say this because they could have just as easily used the clock tower courtyard, but they didn't, and I'll give them props for that. Neville's in the back reading his herbology book that Barty Jr. just gave to him. We find out that this is what he was given later in the film. Smooth. Is it just me, or does the Great Hall look much fuller than it usually is? Notice this. Look out the front door of the Great Hall. You see the big closed door in the hallway? In the previous films, it's been an off-center smaller door. Take a look at the difference. In some other shots, we see that there's a smaller door that opens up inside the larger one. Draco and his friends are sitting with the Durmstrang students during this ceremony. I like the different paper each Triwizard champion used to write their name down. Crumb has nicer paper, Fleur has this colorful plume-looking paper, and Cedric uses parchment paper.
Cedric Diggory!
Sitting next to Cedric is Ernie Macmillan. He's recast in this film, but has shown up in previous films as well. Next to him is also Hannah Abbott, this blonde girl. Who's this random girl that Cedric hugs? No mention of her in the books, and she never comes up later in this movie either. It's also not in the script.
The Triwizard Cup!
I like how the Triwizard Cup gets revealed, and then the shot zooms out a little bit, and Karkaroff's just hovering over it like a leech.
Harry Potter.
Dang, he was so close to getting out of this year's big event. Holding out for next year.
Harry Potter!
How does every single student in the Great Hall know where Harry's sitting? Right away, they all turn right towards him. Is it just me, or does this paper in Dumbledore's hand look different from the one that came out of the cup? This one looks like the edges are burnt off a little more, which makes it a little less square than the original is.
He's a cheat!
You're not even 17 yet.
The kids are so mad, but they act like they didn't cheer on Fred and George when they tried to enter the tournament underage too. They've got a huge double standard. Harry enters the trophy room. In this room, they keep all the trophies the school has collected over the years. It's also where Ron had his detention in the first year.
That night I had detention. My job was to polish the silver in the trophy room.
This room is actually the same room they filmed the Room of Requirement scenes in the next movie. You see the same spires hanging from the roofs, and under them you can see these glass casings. They're not there in the Room of Requirement in Order of the Phoenix, but they are there in the Deathly Hallows, as you can see here, as well as in the Half-Blood Prince in the Room of Hidden Things. You also know it's the same room because of the fireplace, windows, and mirrors on the walls. Look at this eagle with water coming out of its mouth. To find where this was, I first looked at the angle and saw that the camera was placed around this area on the map. We know this because of the Grand Staircase Tower and the hospital wing in front of us, where the light is coming through the windows. The tinier tower in front of it is the Gryffindor Tower's roof, which is dark on the right, and on the farthest right is the Defense Against the Dark Arts Tower. Meaning from this angle and height, this could only be the thin tower that Sirius was held captive on in the last movie. It's one of these bits hanging off, though we never get a much better view of it.
You must be anxious enough as it is, knowing what lies ahead.
This might be the first time we ever get to see Dumbledore's wand. As you may know, this is the Elder Wand, one of the Deathly Hallows and most powerful wands in the wizarding world. All I'm saying is that if Barty Crouch Jr. put Harry's name in the Goblet of Fire, then this would be his handwriting on the note. But earlier we see him write on the chalkboard in class, and his handwriting is a lot messier. Yes, production didn't think that one through.
Harry Potter's stupid friend.
Bear with me while I explain the bed placement lore. In the first film, we see the order going counterclockwise from the door, being Seamus, Ron, and then Harry. We don't know where Neville and Dean are just yet. This continues to the third film when we see the whole group chilling in their beds. From what we discovered, and also who's looking comfortable, the right is Neville's bed and the left is Dean's bed. We also saw the Chudley Cans poster on the left of Dean's bed, meaning Ron's has been moved in this film to be farther away. This makes the new order the door, then maybe Seamus, Harry, Neville, Dean, then Ron. We can confirm Harry and Ron from this scene when Harry's in bed, he looks across the room at Ron, matching this new layout that we just came up with. This brings us to this film, where Ron is back on the right side of Harry's bed. We then see Neville and Seamus in the foreground, moving towards their respective sides of the room. We know Seamus is on the other side of the door because in one of the final scenes, Dumbledore walks into the room and Harry is the second bed to the left of the door, meaning if the order goes Ron, Harry, Seamus has to be on the right of the door now. Meaning it's now door, Ron, Harry, and then the two beds, Seamus. Even more, I confirmed Neville's bed by this scene later in the film when he falls down into his bed. Most likely, probably his own. There's a window behind him, meaning it has to be on this other side. So the current bed situation in the Gryffindor common room goes door, Ron, Harry, Dean, Neville, Seamus. Wow, we finally got there.
What a charismatic quartet.
Welcome Rita Skeeter. She's a writer for the Daily Prophet. She appears in most of the books moving forward, but is only in this movie.
Me, myself, and I want to know. Not to mention my rabid readers.
That must be the Quidditch cup behind them, since there's a golden snitch statue on top of it.
It's a broom cupboard.
You should feel right at home then. Don't mind if I use a quick quotes quill, do you?
Oh, no.
This quill allows Rita Skeeter to write faster, but it's also known to have a mind of its own and write facts that aren't true.
Worst psychotic death wish.
Hey, my eyes aren't glistening with the ghost of my past.
How'd Harry read that? Because the notebook's facing in the opposite direction. He shouldn't be able to get a good view of that. The owlry is now here. Mentioned in the last movie, but it is an official place here right now. It sits atop this mountain, but in the books, it's a tower that's actually a part of the castle. This scene makes a good point where we see Ron moving up top of this balcony because that's how you get into the boys' dormitories. But the problem is that when he's wondering who Harry's talking to a little bit earlier in this scene, he would have been able to see him crouching down by the fire if he just looked over the balcony earlier. Because the first glimpse he gets is at the bottom of the staircase, but again, if he can see at the top of the tower, then he could have just seen Harry looking down and talking to the fire.
That Seamus told him that Dean was told by Pavati that Hagrid's looking for you.
Is that right? Well, what?
I get the question was framed weird, but Harry definitely got the point. The main point is that Hagrid was looking for him, so don't make Hermione repeat herself again.
Ron was here.
Oh, sure. Brother Charlie had to bring him over from Romania.
They mention Charlie Weasley in the scene, but it should be even more. In the books, Charlie is here in person and stays for the first task. Ernie Macmillan and Hannah Abbott are back to be rude to Harry, same as they were in Chamber of Secrets.
That's probably why you know who wanted to kill him in the first place.
Harry is now in the Transfiguration Courtyard, right here on the map.
It's not like I tried to blow things up exactly. This happens a fair bit.
Seamus is talking to Ron about his tendency to blow things up. It's part of this running joke in the series where Seamus blows stuff up in his face.
He disagrees.
If I had a nickel for every time a student jumped out of a tree in the Goblet of Fire, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that happened twice, right?
It's a ferret.
Oh yeah, by the way, Barty just stuffed a student down another student's pants. Did I just hear a Goyle speak? Crabbe and Goyle are notorious for never having really any lines. The first spoken lines they have in the books actually comes in the Deathly Hallows.
That's a faux glass. Lets me keep an eye on my enemies.
Barty introduces us to faux glass. It's a type of dark detector that shows enemies of the possessor as shadows.
Sit.
So Crouch sleeps on a cot in his office. Good to know. Let's look at where this first task is located. From the angle Hogwarts is at, this task would be on a mountain in this direction. You ever wonder how students actually get to this task? Because there's not much of a path, and even if there was, that would be quite the hike. I scoured every country's flags, and none of them matched any of these ones that are on top of the stadium. Oh, and in the books, this task is done in a tent in the forest.
Yes, sir. 10 to 1 for Fleur. There you go. Thank you very much.
If we pause for a moment, we see that Cedric oddly has the best odds at 7 to 4, then Crumb at 5 to 1, next Fleur who's at 10 to 1, and in dead last is Harry at 30 to 1. Weird how they're all like $1 bets besides Cedric. Also, let's give props to Cedric for being the predicted winner because he's up against the chosen one and the best young Quidditch seeker in the whole world. I hear a dragon roar in the background, which has got me thinking, where are they storing these dragons currently? If we look back at this wide shot, there's no place to keep them around the arena, because the tent is for the champions. We also hear a dragon, which sounds like there's already one in the arena.
You have no business here. This tent is for champions and friends.
Rita actually never leaves the tent after Crumb tells her to. She just stays in the background.
If you will. The Welsh Green?
You'd think they do this super important bit of picking who fights which dragon in front of the crowd and not behind closed doors in the tent. So now they all want to chant his name and root for him. Just a minute ago, they were laughing at him in the hallways. In the stands, we see the Minister of Magic, Cornelius Fudge, as he attends this match. We also see Fleur Delacour beaten and bruised on the left, as well as a battle-worn Cedric Diggory having a break after his match as well. Harry here almost hits the owlry. He flies around the Grand Staircase Tower and Dumbledore's office. Is that a mistake I see? Look at the bottom of this scene. You see that plain white wall at the bottom? I'm wondering if that was a castle rendering issue or maybe like a green screen. Not sure if this is a props problem or a post-production problem, but multiple times we see Harry's firebolt broomstick and it looks as if the end is cut off. Like it's half a broomstick. This is what it looks like when it came out of the box. Quite a bit longer. We see into the courtyard while Harry is flying around, and we can see a lot of students still there. Not sure why they're not at the first task. They probably don't like sports. After the first task, Harry and Crumb are tied for first, both getting 40 points. Cedric is in second with 38 points, and Fleur was in last with an unknown number of points. That chimney on top of the Great Hall is connected to this fireplace down below inside of the hall.
No word yet on how Harry Potter's taking this latest emotional blow.
Kind of weird how Harry has an arm brace now and for the next couple of scenes, even though he never had an arm brace directly after the task when he's opening the egg in the Gryffindor common room.
Gather in the Great Hall for a night of well-mannered frivolity.
In my second video, I thought I recognized a certain area, roll the clip, but look at the area right outside the hospital wing, specifically that back wall. Now look at the History of Magic classroom from Hogwarts Legacy. The video game might have wanted to copy the design somehow. I don't know, this doesn't really matter, let's move on. My point still stands, but I've also now realized that this room is also this room, where the Gryffindor students are learning to dance. The back walls match up exactly right, and so does the window that we see through the door.
Behaving like a babbling, bumbling band of baboons.
Another note I have about this room is that it may be the music room. Behind McGonagall, there's a few string instruments, and we also know that the Hogwarts band has to be practicing somewhere.
Something's about to burst out of Eloise Midgen, but I don't think it's a swan.
Eloise Midgen is actually a character in the books who is brought up a few times, often for her bad looks. Ron tells Hermione that he wants to go to the Yule Ball with a good-looking girl, not Eloise Midgen. Her acne is also the inspiration behind the acne curse Hermione puts on Marietta Edgecombe for ratting out the DA. I mean, Fleur was eyeing them down.
Hey, Harry. Hi, Harry.
Hello.
Hi, Harry. Come on.
Hi.
Get the hint. She made eye contact with you when you clearly wanted to talk to her, and then she just left. It's a lost cause.
Who are you going with then?
Fred asks Angelina Johnson out to the Yule Ball. She's one of the Gryffindor chasers, as I mentioned earlier. George Weasley's partner was never identified in the books. I just looked at the official script, and Angelina is listed as Tiana. After a little bit of digging, it turns out the actress's name is Tiana Benjamin. Weird how they messed that one up in the script, but they probably put the actress's name in as the actual character. I just realized Neville is sitting next to Draco at this study hall table. How did that work? No way is Draco not teasing him this whole time. Did Harry just try to stomp the snow off his shoes while still walking in the snow? Seems counterintuitive.
Don't walk into me.
Hi, Harry.
I always like looking at me.
Here are Parvati and Padma Patil. They were actually in the last movie, but as we see quite often, they're recast now. In the books, the twin girls aren't both in Gryffindor. Parvati is, but Padma is in Ravenclaw. Harry takes Parvati to the dance, while Ron takes Padma. Okay, so the Yule Ball is for 4th years and above, and these kids right here look like they're like 10? Get them out of here.
What are those?
Ron is changing into his dress robes inside the Gryffindor dormitory. Harry walks in with a toothbrush in his hands, signifying to me that there is a bathroom in the Gryffindor common room, which is in the video game Hogwarts Legacy, but is never mentioned in the books, so that's quite interesting.
Don't you look dashing?
Padma acts like this is the first time she's seeing these dress robes. She was laughing at Ron when they came out of the box.
They're not for Ginny. They're for you.
Bet she doesn't think it's too funny now.
Oh, well, now you know. Oh, as for you, Mr. Weasley, you may proceed into the Great Hall with Miss Patil.
Come on, McGonagall, you know Ron's family's poor. No need to act like that.
Yes. Now, I need you all to line up in the procession, please. Oh.
You know that eye contact hurt Harry all the way down to his soul.
Is that Hermione Granger with Victor Crumb?
Yeah, so Crumb is 18 in this film, and Hermione's 14. I'll quickly go through all the confirmed Yule Ball partners for you. We've got Harry Potter and Parvati Patil, Cedric Diggory and Cho Chang, Victor Crumb and Hermione Granger, Roger Davies and Fleur Delacour, Ron Weasley and Padma Patil, Neville Longbottom and Ginny Weasley, Seamus Finnegan and Lavender Brown, Draco Malfoy and Pansy Parkinson, Fred Weasley and Angelina Johnson, Ludo Bagman and Minerva McGonagall, Alistair Moody and Aurora Sinestra, which is the astronomy teacher, and lastly Rubeus Hagrid and Olympe Maxime. Flitwick is back to orchestrate, only this time he's conducting the string players and not the choir. Back to my underage students at the Yule Ball gripe, why is Nigel here? They're just inviting the whole castle at this point. This band is real in the wizarding world and goes by the name The Weird Sisters. The band is played by real-life musicians, part of the bands Pulp and Radiohead.
May I have your
Arm, leg, I'm yours.
Polyakoff's really out here stealing the Chosen One's girl. I know the whole Great Hall is Frozen themed, but I like that they add chunks of ice inside the hanging fire torches.
Victor's gone to go and get drinks. She care to join us?
Sure, Victor could be getting drinks, but he's currently busy chatting up his buddies in the back. Clearly Hermione's not that important to get back to. Harry walks outside into the courtyard from the Great Hall. In the previous two movies, this has been the entrance hall. We clearly see it in the Hogwarts shots in the first two movies, and the only look we get at it in The Prisoner of Azkaban is from this shot that's pretty far away. So in this movie, they remove it completely and replace it with this courtyard.
You must. 10 points from Hufflepuff, Fawcett, and the same for Ravenclaw, Stebbins.
We don't know much about Stebbins, but Fawcett is a recurring character in the books. She's most notable for getting injured during the dueling club in their second year and trying to put her name in the Goblet of Fire.
Harry.
Where have you been? Never mind, off to bed, both of you.
Kinda weird because that scene we saw out in the courtyard is a deleted scene. So if you're watching the movie, Harry randomly comes back into the castle from outside with pretty much no explanation. Appreciate this song, because it's a banger. Can I only show you really like a few seconds because I'll get copyright striked. A few of the couples are still dancing, like Fred and Angelina in the back too, We also see George in the back dancing with someone. At least I think that's George because of the ginger hair and hairstyle. This is the only look we ever get into the Hogwarts bell towers. Here's a little tracing of where the camera flies in this scene. I'm just going to keep talking so there's something to show you while the scene continues to move along. From the bell towers to the Gryffindor tower. This window makes factually no sense because we know there's a door that leads into the Gryffindor boys' common room, but from this outer view, the windows are higher than the main castle structure, meaning a door couldn't be there. For just a second, Harry has the book-accurate eye color of green.
Actually, we don't really talk at all. Victor's more of a physical being.
I do not condone this.
What's that supposed to mean?
Just means these tasks are designed to test you.
Harry's glasses actually never have a true glass in them. They're just hollow lenses, and in this scene, we can see that pretty clearly. So this is the prefect's bathroom. Only prefects, head boys and girls, as well as Quidditch captains can use this bathroom. There's a swimming pool-like bathtub inside with around 100 golden bath taps that do a variety of things.
I could swear I saw a bit of Polyjuice potion. Not being a bad boy again, are you, Harry?
Polyjuice potion?
Obvious, but this is referencing how Crouch Jr. has been using Polyjuice potion all year.
Come on, place your bets, come on. Come on, step it, mate, don't be shy. 3 hands. 1 lady. 4 go down. With the 4 come up.
I can't read Crumb's odds, but the new betting odds for this task is Cedric at 7-4, Fleur at 10-1, and Harry at 3-1.
You're sure about this, Neville?
Absolutely.
For an hour?
Most likely.
In this movie, Neville's the one to give Harry gillyweed, but in the books, it's Dobby. Harry asks Dobby if he could help out, and Dobby overhears Barty Crouch Jr. talking about gillyweed. That's how Dobby knows to get it.
After that, they'll be on their own. No magic will save.
Look at Polycoff's eyes. Don't think we don't see you sneaking a peek. Fleur uses the bubblehead charm to breathe underwater, Cedric uses this same technique as well, and then Crumb uses a transfiguration to become part shark. These creatures attacking Harry are called Grindylows.
What creature sat in the corner the first time Harry Potter visited my office in Hogwarts?
Are you mad?
What creature?
Grindylow!
And the creatures from earlier that look like an ugly mermaid are called Selkie.
We've agreed to award him 2nd place.
Yes!
In this task, Cedric wins 47 points, Harry's next with 45 points, Crumb next with 40 points, and Fleur in last again with 25 points.
Yes!
Now that Draco's bullying Nigel, we have to stop him.
Not trying to lure Potter into one of the Ministry's summer internships, are we? Last boy who went into the Department of Mysteries never came out.
Early mention of the Department of Mysteries. This is where the final battle is in the Order of the Phoenix.
Biggest bunch of misfits I ever set eyes on.
Mr. Crouch?
This is such a nice scene that gets ruined by a dead body. Wish we got more of these. In the background, they're also singing the Hogwarts theme song, which doesn't fully make sense because they deleted that scene. And so if you're a film watcher, you're just kind of not knowing what they're singing about. Well, this scene doesn't matter much because we barely get time to even know the guy. So let me give you this briefest explanation of this plot line in the book because it's a good one. After the Quidditch World Cup, Barty Crouch Sr. begins acting strange. He's often seen exhausted, disoriented, and slowly losing control of his own mind. Crouch Sr. is being controlled through the Imperious Curse, the mind control curse. As the story continues, Crouch Sr. stops showing up to the tasks, and Percy Weasley has to fill in for him. That's a different long story. Soon he breaks free from the control placed on him, and he attempts to reach Dumbledore to warn him. However, before he can explain what he knows, Crouch Sr. is murdered by Crouch Jr. We find out later that he was transfigured into a bone and hid near Hagrid's hut. He's not just lying on the ground like we see here.
A man has died here, Fudge, and he won't be the last. You must take action. I will.
Look at this new area to the right of the headmaster's office door. That wasn't there before. I wish I could tell you what it's supposed to be, but I don't really know why they added this.
Oh, Harry, do feel free to indulge in a little licorice snap in my absence, but I have to warn you, they're a wee bit sharp.
The licorice snap candy is a candy created by the filmmakers, and it's not from the books. This is the pensieve. It's used to store and view memories. Legend has it that the 4 founders of the school discovered the pensieve half buried in the ground in the location where the school would be built. This was supposedly one of the reasons the school was located in such a remote location. We're in the ministry's courtrooms located on the 10th and bottommost floor of the ministry. This is courtroom 10.
Igor Karkaroff, you have been brought from Azkaban at your own request.
Welcome to Igor Karkaroff's trial. He is on trial for the suspicion that he was a Death Eater. Mad-Eye Moody was actually the one to capture him.
Rosier. Evan Rosier.
Rosier is dead.
Dead?
Yeah, he took a piece of me with him, though, didn't he?
Moody lost a bit of his nose and gained his scars when he battled Evan Rosier. Moody was also the one to kill him.
Barty Crouch! Junior.
This isn't how the trial goes down in the books. Karkaroff named Dolohov, Rosier, Traviers, Mulcible, Snape, and Rookwood as Death Eaters. Name-dropping Rookwood is the reason he didn't go to Azkaban.
There was Rookwood. He was a spy.
The next trial we see is Ludo Bagman's trial. He was under suspicion of being a double agent and passing information along to the Death Eaters. Because he was a famous Quidditch player, he was let off the hook and believed to have been doing it unknowingly, though that ended up being false. The last trial we see is the trial of the Lestrangers and Barty Crouch Jr. The 4 are on trial for torturing Frank and Alice Longbottom. Jr. pleaded to his father and denied his involvement. So why is Crouch Jr. like sitting inside the trial room? You'd think he'd want to be as far away from this exact location as possible.
Curiosity's not a sin, Harry.
Well, that's not creepy one bit. Harry's walking through the dark corridor, the same one he was walking in while he was looking for Peter Pettigrew on the Marauders map in the last movie. We know this because of the pictures, but also because of the wallpaper.
You and your little friends are brewing Polyjuice Potion, and believe me, I'm going to find out why.
This becomes obvious on rewatch, but the ingredients are being stolen by Barty Crouch Jr. in order to make Polyjuice Potion. In this movie, the gillyweed is explained away by Jr. giving it to Neville to then give to Harry, but in the books, since Dobby is the one to give Harry the gillyweed, Dobby just stole it. Here we see Roger Davies, Fleur's date to the Yule Ball, dancing in the stands with the Beauxbaton students. This kid's got Triwizard Tournament merch on. Who's selling that?
Professor Moody placed the Triwizard Cup deep within the maze. Only he knows its exact position.
Seems like an odd detail to announce to the crowd. It's almost like he's trying to foreshadow something. In the books, this maze is held on the Quidditch pitch, not in the middle of the forest. There's creatures in the maze such as blast-netted Scroots, Boggarts, Sphinx, and more. Crumb has had the Imperious Curse put onto him by Crouch Jr. That's why he's acting like this. He's not just doing this because he wants to. Once again, Expelliarmus isn't being used right. These movies can never do their homework.
For a moment there, I thought you were gonna let it get me.
Probably wished it would have gotten you, huh?
You okay? Yeah. You?
And we're back to where we started, in the Riddle Graveyard, the same graveyard the film opened with. Just in case you didn't realize, that house in the back is the Riddle Manor again, the place Frank Bryce was killed in. I bet when this movie came out, book lovers were scared for a second because the first time you see Voldemort on Quirrell's head, he has a nose, and now the second time, in his baby form, he still has a nose.
Kill the stag!
Avada Kedavra!
No! Cedric!
I've got nothing to say here, I just wanted to sit here for a second.
Bone of the father, unwillingly given.
Just taking us back for a moment, remember when I said Barty Crouch Sr. was transfigured into a bone after he was killed? There's a popular fan theory that one day, Crouch Jr. will be resurrected because of this spell. As you see here, you need blood of the enemy, easy. Flesh from the servant, could be easy.
Flesh.
And bone of the father.
Bone.
Since Crouch Jr. is still technically alive, just with his soul sucked out from the Dementors, he could be resurrected to full health using all 3 of these ingredients that are still just lying around. This is perfect for a new villain spinoff.
Unwillingly given.
I know we just saw this scene, but I've got one more thing to say. It pans to Thomas Riddle and says he was born in the year 1880. But that's Voldemort's grandfather, not his father. And the scene says it needs the bone of the father, so I don't know why I would pan to his grandfather. His father was born in 1905 and is the bottommost name on the gravestone, so the camera should be panning to that name since it's actually his bone. Ain't it weird that this Voldemort only really is in like 3 full movies plus this scene? Feels like he's always been here.
My wand, Wormtail.
People often wonder how Voldemort got his wand back. After the curse rebounded in Godric's Hollow, Voldemort became nothingness. The only other person to arrive at this house afterwards is Hagrid, so unless Wormtail made a pit stop at Godric's Hollow, this wand should still be there in that house. Easy day for Robert Pattinson on set, I assume.
Crap! Damn, nah!
Voldemort rips the masks off Crabbe Sr., McNair, and Goyle Sr. Obviously, we know they're kids, but as mentioned in the last video, McNair was the executioner for Buckbeak in Prisoner of Azkaban.
I'd introduce you, but word has it you're almost as famous as me these days.
That's a good question. Who do you think is more famous? You almost can't know one without the other, but I'd have to lean Voldemort.
Shall I reveal what really happened that night? How I truly lost my powers?
Dumbledore explains this love protection loosely in the first film, but like Voldemort says, Lily's sacrifice for her own son gave Harry protection.
You see, when dear sweet Lily Potter gave her life for her only son, she provided the ultimate protection.
When Voldemort cast the killing curse, it rebounded and hit Voldemort himself.
I could not touch him. I could touch you. Now.
Voldemort says this, but never really explains why. So, after Lily's protection, Voldemort couldn't touch Harry. That's why in Sorcerer's Stone, he burned when Harry touched his face. He can now touch him because Lily's sacrificial protection is in Harry's blood, which now flows through Voldemort through that potion and using blood of the enemy.
Astonishing what a few drops of your blood will do.
This is a main plot point in Deathly Hallows, but because Voldemort used Harry's blood to resurrect himself, that love protection flows through Voldemort now, meaning he can now touch Harry. Voldemort uses all 3 unforgivable curses on Harry in a span of a minute. Even in this life-threatening situation, Harry decides to cast Expelliarmus. This is why he becomes known for it. The wands collide like this because of something called Priori Incantatem.
Voldemort's wand and mine sort of connected.
Priori Incantatem.
This happens when 2 wands with the same wand core duel with one another. Remember in the first movie when Oliver says that their wands are brothers?
When its brother gave you that scar.
Well, this makes it so the wands collide midair. It also makes the wands echo the last spell they cast. Seeing as this is Voldemort's wand, the last person the wand killed was Cedric Diggory, next was Frank Bryce, then Lily and James Potter. This is why they all show up in their ghostly form. In the books, there's also this woman named Bertha Jorkins who Voldemort killed, but that was like a subplot left out of this movie. Yeah, since it's a portkey, it works both ways, there and back. Maybe she should have hidden it or something so Harry couldn't use it again. Harry wins. To be fair, they mentioned this a couple times that people tend to die in this tournament, so it's not the craziest thing that came to fruition.
People die in this tournament.
Earlier during the maze, it zoomed out, and we saw the maze's location based off of where Hogwarts Castle was. If we bring up the map, it would be off the map up here in this direction. Now in this new scene, the scene zooms out, and on the left is the Defense Against the Dark Arts Tower, and on the right is this diagonal large bit of the castle that's not explored a ton. If the cameras around here were pointed in this direction towards the maze, which would make this wrong. This also means that the maze moved. Or you can blame it on the visual effects people for not knowing Hogwarts architecture. They also probably thought no one would be nerdy enough to find this mistake. Quite the coincidence that Barty Jr. runs out of all his Polyjuice Potion at this exact moment.
Imagine how he will reward me. Silenced the great Harry Potter.
I would have imagined that Voldemort would have been pretty pissed that this nobody killed his greatest foe, but he himself couldn't. Not sure about that one. You see, they're in a side room right now, and so if Dumbledore blasts this door open, he'd have to walk fully around the corner before being able to hit Crouch with a spell. You can see the teachers turning the corner here. So again, it doesn't really make full sense that he breaks down the door and casts the spell right away. Severus poured Veritaserum, the truth potion, into Junior's mouth. Don't ask why they don't use this in every single situation.
You all right, Alistair?
I'm sorry, Albus.
That's Moody, but then who's...
He had to keep the real Mad-Eye Moody nearby so that he could continue to steal his hair. You need the hair of the person you want to transform into to make the potion work, as we saw in Chamber of Secrets.
Send an owl to Azkaban. Think they'll find I'm missing a prisoner.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. Let me explain to you how he escaped Azkaban in the first place. Barty Crouch Sr.'s wife had become increasingly ill and missed her son very dearly. When she was about to die, they got permission to visit their son in Azkaban. While they were there, she switched spots with her son. She consumed Polyjuice Potion to look like him, while he left the prison looking like her. She then died shortly after. Junior was taken back to this house and secretly stored there for years. He escaped shortly before the Quidditch World Cup, and was then the one to send the Dark Mark into the sky. This also technically makes him the first person to escape Azkaban, not Sirius Black.
The Ministry of Magic does not wish me to tell you this, but not to do so, I think, would be an insult to his memory.
Something that happens in the books is Cornelius Fudge, the Minister of Magic, is in denial that the Dark Lord has returned. This then sets up his attitude in the next book about being against Harry. He also swiftly gives the Dementor's kiss to Barty Crouch Jr., sucking the soul out of his body.
You're not alone.
Bold of Dumbledore to say, because the very next time we see him, he's actively ignoring Harry.
Write to me. Promise.
She actually does continue to write to Crumb in secret. We find out that in the Deathly Hallows. This was the same hallway that Dumbledore's office was located in the Chamber of Secrets. It's also where Dobby receives his sock.
Promise you'll write this summer. Harry will, won't you?
Yeah, every week.
Harry's laughing like he wasn't complaining just 2 years ago that none of his friends were writing to him anymore. The trio is looking down at the boathouse and the long winding staircase. They'd be right here on the map. Seeing as we got the map up, let's do the same thing we did in the last movie and mark down everywhere we've been. Here's the first task, the second task, and the third task. All are kind of off screen, but you get the gist. And here's all of the known other locations. Lots to do in the Great Hall, but we've now also got the library, owlery, defense against the dark arts class, and transfiguration courtyard. We get to move around a lot more in this movie, which is nice. Ah, and we can't forget the Forbidden Forest. Here is the final map. We're officially halfway done with this series. This was a fun one to make as always. I hope you learned something new while watching this video. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, of course, on what you found the most interesting. It's been my pleasure to get to make these videos for you. I know we're halfway done. Thank you guys for all coming back. Until next time, as always, I've been the Wizard Project. Thanks for watching. And then, dead. Show the dead. Show him dying. Show him dying. Show him dead again. Why not? For the fun of it.